Hey second grade, welcome back to Art with Miss B. This week we are going to be doing a two-step project. Okay, now this project is based off of an artist named Hokusai. Okay, now he is a Japanese artist and he has a very complicated name. So we're just going to call him Hokusai. Okay, Hokusai. Now he's very famous for creating lots of really different ancient Asian art. Okay, now the way that he made art in his time was unlike any other kind of art that was being done where he was living. And so that's what makes him really special to the history of art. And he made a really famous painting called The Great Wave. Okay, now once you see our little video here, you'll know this picture. I'm sure you've seen it somewhere. If you haven't, well good, now you have. Okay, and it's called The Great Wave, and what this picture shows, it's actually a print that he made, and he'll explain that in the video, but it's of a big ocean wave. Okay, it's big and it's blue and it has white edges for the white tips of the wave, and right in the background is a mountain, and it's a very famous mountain. It's called Mount Fuji, and it is the most symmetrical mountain in the world. Symmetrical means it's the same on each side. Okay, so we are going to be first learning a little bit about Hokusai in today's video, and then we are going to be drawing out our waves and our Mount Fujis. Okay, now when you're doing this project, it's something really important to keep in mind. In art, there are three really important ways that we look at a painting or a drawing or an artwork that we are doing when it is a landscape. A landscape is something an artwork that is done from outside. Okay, in those three steps, you've probably heard of them before. The first step is foreground, the second step is middle ground, and the third step is background. Okay, the foreground is what's closest to you. Okay, so like if Miss B were to hold up her pencil right here, okay, my pencil is in the foreground. It's closest to you. The middle ground, that'd be Miss B right here. I'm in the middle. And my background would be the door behind me with my artwork. Foreground, middle ground, background. So when you are looking at his art, see if you can find some foreground, middle ground, and backgrounds. All right, let's learn a little bit more about Hokusai.
Hokusai.
While you're having fun reading a comic book, I'm having fun mopping the floor.
I'm not reading a comic book. It's an art book. These are some sketches by a Japanese artist called Hokusai.
And I'm not really mopping the floor. I drew a dadatastic bird with a mop, and you're on its back.
Ah! I just read about Hokusai doing the same thing in Japan a long, long time ago. Wow, Dada! I love it. Now you're on the bird's back. You know what they call this? An artistic happening.
Just like I happened to do art while I was mopping the floor.
Well, usually there's a crowd, and they watch the artist perform art as it's happening. Hokusai was famous for doing that.
For drawing a big bird with a mop, just like I did? I'm Dada happening!
He did all kinds of stuff. Hokusai was very daring and didn't like to follow the traditional way of doing things. He was known as that crazy artist who broke all the rules. In front of a lot of people, he would do crazy things like paint two little birds on a tiny grain of rice.
Whoa! 2 little birds on a grain of rice. That is zing!
Yep. Sometimes he would paint with his fingers or toothpicks or both hands at the same time. And one time, he spread out hundreds of sheets of paper outside a temple square, and everyone was wondering what he was up to. He had a broom and a big bucket of ink, and yep, just like you, he drew a big picture. No one could tell what he was drawing because it was too big. They could only see him running around making lines everywhere.
I can see what he painted. A big picture of a funny-looking guy. That amazing.
Huh? Yeah, that's what he drew. A giant portrait of the patriarch of Zen Buddhism.
Let's go, Maddie. Let's go visit Hokusai, the daring artist.
Whoa!
That was exciting!
Dada, you were so unpredictable.
It was crazy.
Yes. Crazy and unpredictable. Keep things interesting. Just ride the waves and go with the flow.
We sure did all right. And the wave brought us here to Hokusai, the great artist.
I'm just an old man mad about drawing. Actually, I've changed my name to that. Kwakyo Rojin. But one day, I will be a great artist. When I was your age, I was sketching everything. And as an adult, I have produced an infinity of works, with some reputation. But nothing I did before the age of 70 is worth any attention. When I am 80, I will have penetrated the true essence of things. And when I am 140 years old, then every stroke I paint will be alive.
Dada, wow! More alive than this? That wave is gigantic!
In the midst of chaos, there is a point of stability. Mount Fuji.
Huh, it kind of looks like one of the waves.
Yes, but the waves will come and go. The mountain does not change. It is always there. It is a reminder of the divine energy and is seen as sacred.
So, the mountain has more power than the waves.
Dada, wow! There's power everywhere in that painting.
But it is not a painting. It is a print. It is a series of images layered one on top of another. The first image is just the outline. It is printed from a wooden block that had first the drawing pasted to it. Then all the lines carved around to make a stamp over the picture. Then each color is printed on top from a different carved block. One for each color, starting from the lightest to the darkest.
It's like a coloring book.
Look at this one, Dada. These guys are having a picnic.
These guys are having a nice, relaxing time. Dada, whoa! A gigantic waterfall! And they're right on the edge! Scary!
Oh, I find it fun to be on the edge. That is where one finds the endless flow of creativity.
Well, you must have found that flow because this waterfall is very unusual.
Yeah! I can see the slow-moving water and the fast-falling water both at the same time. Dada, crazy!
And it makes me really feel how big that waterfall is. It flows down forever.
I just draw what I see.
Tiny little people and big, powerful water.
Yeah, just like the other print of the big wave.
We are a part of the beauty and immense power of nature that surrounds us.
I can do that!
Yeah, I want to do it too. I want to follow my own flow. Thank you, Hokusai. Your art is so magnificent.
Have the courage to ride that wave.
Look, Maddie, I'm making a river. Dada, flowing!
This is fun. I'm going to make someone right on the edge of the water. A little tiny princess.
Whoa! And a big yellow sun.
Wow, cool.
Okay, so that was really cool getting to learn about Hokusai. He was just a very interesting artist, and he was doing things that were just unlike what anybody else was doing. And did you guys see how he taught about making his, how to do the printmaking? Yeah, it's really unique and special, and when you get into the older grades in Miss B's class, you'll get to do printmaking. That's gonna be pretty cool to get to do together. All right, so if we are trying to make a foreground, a middle ground, and a background of our Hokusai wave, we first need to find what are in each of those areas. Okay, so Miss B has put on to Seesaw for you a picture, and this picture is the print of the Great Wave. So if it helps you, put it in front of you. If not, you can just follow along with Miss B. Okay, I just put the picture up there in case you wanted to look at it yourself. What you're gonna need to do before we begin is you are going to need your pencil, your crayon, and your paper. All right, make sure it's a white paper and it doesn't have any other lines on it. Okay, now the black crayon, you can also, if you don't have a crayon but you have oil pastels, use a black oil pastel, okay, because we're gonna be using watercolor or Crayola marker and water to get to add our color on Wednesday. So you'll need something waxy, like a crayon. Okay, so let's first start with our pencil though. And the reason we start with our pencil is because if we don't like what we do, we can erase it and fix it. Now, actually, it's kind of hard to see Miss B's pencil on the camera, so I'm just gonna do mine with the crayon right away. All right, so if I'm looking at my poster of Hokusai, we are gonna see in the foreground, there is a small wave. Okay, so the way that we're gonna show this wave is you're gonna start on the left side of your paper. Okay, we're gonna go just a little bit up from the end. And we are going to make a curved line like this. And then starting at the top of that line, a short curved line kind of going down. And then we're going to finish off this foreground by starting at the top here and making that go all the way down to the other side of our paper. So this is our foreground wave. It's the wave that is closest to us in his picture. Second is the middle ground, and that's where we see the biggest wave. Okay, so this wave should go almost to the top of your paper. Don't be afraid to make this a big wave, okay? So this wave is gonna have a big curved line. So we are gonna move about halfway up our paper. So if this is the bottom, try to find about halfway, okay? And we are gonna make a big curved line like this. It almost looks like a hook. Do you see that? Okay, starting here, we're going to bring that down and up. Okay, so this one, it curves, but then instead of going down to the bottom, it's gonna come back up. Okay, so this is our middle ground and our big wave. Okay, last is our background. Okay, so we see Mount Fuji in that background, but it also has a straight line. The straight line is called the horizon line. So let's make our horizon line first. Okay, so Miss B is gonna start first on my big wave, and I'm just gonna draw a straight line all the way to that side. And you can see that over here, I left a little bit of space, so I need to draw my horizon line over there as well. And in this background here, you're gonna do Mount Fuji. So remember we talked about it being symmetrical. So it's kind of like a triangle. And then the top has a short, straight line, and then back down. So here we have our foreground, our middle ground, and our background ready for detail. Now these details are gonna be shown using zigzag lines. So let's start in our background. We're going to show that there's snow on top of this mountain. So we're going to do some zigzag lines to show the snow. Next, we are going to do some zigzag lines, or if you would like to do wavy lines, that's fine too, to show where the white part of our wave is. Okay, so I'm going to start on the edge of the paper over here. Okay, just below where I started my big wave at. And I am going to do some zigzags. Now I'm going to stay pretty far away from the edge up here of my wave, but then I'm going to start kind of getting a little bit closer and finally end my zigzag right back to the tip of the wave there. This is all going to be the white part of our waves. Okay, that's called the white cap. And then down here on our bottom one, we're going to do that same thing. So on this left side, we're going to start doing some zigzags. And then they get kind of like long and skinny zigzags as it goes around like that. Okay, so you should now have your foreground, your middle ground, and your background showing the curved lines, the straight horizon lines, straight mountain, and we have our zigzags to show our white caps. Okay, now you are ready to add color, and we'll do that on Wednesday. Thanks for joining me today as we learned a little bit about a new artist, Hokusai, and we got to start the drawing of making our great wave. All right, I look forward to getting to add color to this with you guys. All right, but this is the first step that you need to have done before you watch the video on Wednesday. I hope you have a really great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.